No siguiente presentación aquí, na Mondi Stage, está en cargo de Danielle Boodoo-Fortuné. Espero que me avisa, es fanbon. Fortuné, este es un poeta, un artista, un cantador, of contador de cuenta. Entonces Danielle te conocí por su poesía fascinante y su arte visual. Su palabra nanta carga es esencia de Caribe, esta de Trinidad y Tobago, y esta expone y publica su obra en diferentes publicaciones. Danielle ha ganado diferentes premios riba diferentes terrenos internacionales of the exterior. Entonces aquí ella ganó para su colección de poesía titulada Do Songs na 2019. Kubos ng Danielle Boodoo-Fortuné.
How to break a curse. Lemon balm is for forgiveness. Pull up from the root, steep in boiling water, add locust wings, salt, the dried bones of hummingbirds. Drink when you feel ready. Drink even if you do not. Pepper seeds are for courage. Sprinkle them on your tongue, sprinkle them in the doorway and along the windowsill. Mix pepper and water to a thick paste. Spackle the cracks in the concrete. Anoint the parts in your hair. You need as much courage as you can get. Water is for healing. Leave a jar open beneath the full moon. Let it rest. Water your plants, wash your face, drink. The sharpened blade is for memory. Metal lives long, never grows weary of our comings and goings. Wrap this blade in newspaper. Keep beneath your bed. Be patient, daughter. First warmth. Settle against me like a sigh of gray birds on a high wire, like an electric cloud on the peak of the mountain's shoulder. Remember when you were weightless, suspended in water and longing. I carried you in the dark, in the deep gold vein of my dreams, growing slowly, divine spiral, spine to spine. Your first warmth still clings to things. The unraveling yarn of two small hats, scuffed soles of first shoes, the crib folded away like a love note. Still your weight holds me here, unmoving as a fixed planet, as lesser lights whirl blindly in sleep. Love Notes from Island Lockdown. This poem was written during the 2020 lockdown in Trinidad. To close an island, you must first thread the borders with bits of sea glass, prayer beads, and rusted metal. Blur the maps blue with your damp open palm. The coast is half blind and prone to drifting. Your island doesn't always come back when you call. Still, you must forgive its sinking sand and jagged fault lines. We all have wounds from which we cannot heal. But your small house is an island too. The silver bowl of risen dough on the windowsill, the sliver of amber in your son's right eye. And sometimes the island surfaces in you high and seismic, like in the middle of this dry month, when the first wave stills and the mountain pui gasp in yellow adoration. You want to worship at the ocean's throat again, but the weeks and the waves still loom so gray and strange in the distance. In the sealed container of home now, dust clouds drift and settle. You find air spaces in the secret hollows of trees, mark time in the nesting cycles of cornbirds and the fruiting seasons of mangoes. The only storm. If you have no land of your own, it is not enough to float. You need light to know the depth of water. Before we are born, all is silent. In the dark, every stain looks like blood. In a room I never entered, my father slept while a mountain washed away. I was named for the only storm that year. While she carried me, my mother wept. My mother wept while she carried me. I was named for the only storm that year, while a mountain washed away. My father slept in a room I never entered. In the dark, every stain looks like blood. Before we are born, all is silent. You need light to know the depth of water. It is not enough to float if you have no land of your own. Petitioning the patron saint of childbirth. There is a place not far from here where two rivers meet the sea, a shore dark and pitted as a caiman's back. My thoughts drift here when I pray to you, to swollen water and lonely spit, tide rising belly of a full mangrove god. Every room I enter is untruth. The doctor is not my maker. He can barely keep my bones together. He cannot sew me into wholeness even with your holy medallion around my neck. O saints, there is so much I cannot tell you. Perhaps I will confide in the goddess of childbirth, mother of ocelots and flowers. Perhaps I will write letters to my own mother with invisible pigment made of colostrum and brine. But these words are all seeds, hard-shelled and deep-veined like nutmeg, falling to earth in careless handfuls. I know this forest of silence is of my own making. Now what can you say to me that the wild Atlantic has not? I've already heard the one about everything happening for a reason. Dear saint, I know you will not take me in your pristine arms and make me weightless, even if I beg. Behind my eyes at night there is only water. My unborn child inside me, a turn of turtles flailing in the deep, crossing the unknown. Appeasing the goddess of anxiety. Tomorrow I will be 1 day older. I will wake with a splinter in the back of my neck, wash the ocean from my eyes, caffeinate the wreck away for another day. Tomorrow I will remember something lost, a note in a drawer, an email read in half sleep. I will wander the garden with a trowel and a squint. I will fold a grocery list in half, start another one on the back. The kettle will whistle and roll. I will stare in horror at the ringing phone. I am 1 day older. It is the same day as before. Gray threads my hair. The children grow taller. Moss creeps up the wall. The clock ticks, whirs in the cadence of tiny cogs of sure and knowing parts. Everything in place. Everything is rhythm. The curtains are open, but there is a creeping dark in the corner of my vision, a filter that pulses, squeezes, a full moon in the throat, a battery somewhere in the body, a hidden current, a wire of bright, startling paralysis. Sleep is nothing but memory, recall, repeat. I am 1 day older. The goddess wants tea. She wants the scream of the kettle, the certainty of heat. The day groans on its hinges. Every soft sentence ends with a fish hook. I swallow them unwillingly. I move like a diver, climber of trees, sailor of ships. breakfast, messages, lists, conversation, crumbs, typos, numbers, commands, water the plants, check messages, things that can be written, that can be swept, that can be put off for tomorrow when I will be older. And in the space between humming heartbeat, subterranean clicking, binding pulse, creeping dark. The uses of poetry. Like when you are folded inside the morning, a forgotten note between the hours, print fading, the dream's edge wearing itself bare, someone calling out a name that isn't quite a sound. Like when you have not written in months, then a word splinters the light in the room, running water gasps between your hands, leaves fill your mouth, overripe guavas fall into your lap. Or when the ache roots before it hits the ground, when you spread your fingers wide across the hurt of it. What can you tell yourself when you have not written? Eventually you will need language. Eventually you will write again. The week will not swallow you up. Bills will raise up and meet themselves. The recipe can take 1 egg instead of 2. The air remembers what you cannot hold in both arms. Someone always forgets the lesser gods we have shoved into books and forgotten. Still, the uses of poetry are endless. Like when the years have grown you wild like vines, when silver moths have eaten your books, when something has turned to dust in every corner of your house, and you finally sit at your kitchen table to lick life off a spoon. The world does not end by quaking. The old house heaves its death rattle. A spire of smoke drifts out the bedroom window. Our father descends the stair, moving backward through green water, a wet cigarette in his mouth. The glass room shudders, shrieks without sound. Sleeping koi rise from their bowl undrowned. We are not afraid of our father, you in your fishbowl, sister, and I in mine. Look outside now. The earth has stopped moving. Little one, I have lived behind the curtain of what we must not tell. Draw it back now. See, the world does not end by quaking. Bright lily, beloved sister, dearest stranger, you will survive this long night underwater. When the day breaks, I will come for you with silver in my hair and oil in my palms. Until then, hold fast to my memory. For when the tremors end and the years spread their fins in the dark water between us, you will know me by my footfall, by the crown of my head and the click of my jaw, the slivered moan of my smile. But now a lone rooster beats its tail across the night. The dark hill ends in the point of a rusted blade. Here is your small share of earth. Here is your bouquet of ill-fated stars. The glass breaks. Time spills down the staircase. One of us takes his outstretched hand. No word for light. There is no word for light in your language. The island knows it. Each blind grain of sand, each blade of grass shot through with God's own viridian. The mountain will not be painted, nor the river hold still for the poet to find the right words. But whether I find the words or not, light will enter the room each morning like an outstretched arm, fill the cracks between floorboards and the graying filaments of hair. I learned to pray in the language of light and running water before the yearning and the poems and the cracked spines of books. For this island has a tongue, holy whisper of bamboo in the valley, hiss of rock through gritted teeth at Galera. So what does it mean to go home when the tributary heaped with flowers sounds all the bells in my body? When the smell of the Atlantic Ocean wrings the salt from my eyes and calls me daughter. Here has always been home, my mother's home, motherland, mother. There is no word for light. There is only the praise song of parrots and cold September rain. Only the shadow of some forgotten house worn down to bone by years of footfall and sun. Only names of plants and trees, true names, ones they answer to in the dark, in the fierce, secret heat of growing things. Even if they never loved you, there is a line stretching from earth to sky of mothers who loved you before you were born. Before your name rose into the air in baptismal smoke, you were blessed by hands you could not see. You are gold and blood and salt and water. You are love and love itself before its name was love. Thank you for your energy. Thank you to everyone. Thank you to the collaborator for this moving art project. This is the first time we've shown it on a stage, so we're so excited. Thank you so much.